Good evening and welcome to California Today. I'm Daniel Hall, sitting in for Lang Jiang. Here's a preview of some of the stories we have for you tonight. Police have arrested what they called a related suspect in the shooting that occurred in Sacramento on Sunday. This was Sacramento's second mass shooting this year. A court in Los Angeles found a corporate diversity law unconstitutional. Under the law, every board of directors had to have a certain number of minority members. The plaintiffs in the case are calling the court's ruling historic. And Los Angeles is piloting a universal basic income program. Recipients will receive $1,000 per month for 3 years if they meet certain requirements. 6 people are dead after a mass shooting in Sacramento, the second in the city this year. Police are seeking the public's help in finding the shooters. Sacramento police announced an arrest Monday in the shooting that killed 6 people and wounded 12 others. Police say at least 2 shooters fired more than 100 rounds just a few blocks from Golden One Arena, home of the NBA's Sacramento Kings. Police confirmed they booked 26-year-old Dondre Martin as a related suspect on charges of assault with a deadly weapon and illegally carrying a loaded gun. Detectives and SWAT team members found 1 handgun during searches of 3 homes in the area. According to the Sacramento Fire Department, at least 4 of the victims suffered critical injuries, and at least 7 had been released from hospitals by Monday. Police said gunfire broke out around 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, just several blocks from the state capitol building.
Around 2 a.m. this morning, officers heard gunshots near 10th Street and K Street and saw people running. They were on scene almost immediately, and there they encountered a large crowd and multiple gunshot victims.
Witnesses captured the first moments after the shooting as rescuers rushed to carry the wounded to an ambulance. Pamela Harris's 38-year-old son was among the dead. She said her daughter had called her at 2:15 a.m. to say that her son, Sergio, had been shot and killed outside a nightclub.
It's not fair. It's not right. I just want to know something. That's all. I just want them to just tell me something. Tell our family something so we can do what we have to do to try to move on a little bit.
Mayor Darrell Steinberg is calling for action on gun control, but California is known for having some of the strictest gun control laws in the country.
The fact that we accept the idea that people can have ready access to assault weapons, to weapons of destruction, and can indiscriminately use them however and wherever they want, that is not just an exception. It happens far too often.
Sunday's shooting was the second mass shooting in Sacramento in the last 5 years. Sacramento police have confirmed multiple shooters in Sunday's incident, and the suspects are still at large. Police encourage any witnesses with information regarding the incident to contact the department at 916-808-5471 or submit evidence at the Community Evidence Portal. A California court has ruled that the state's law mandating corporate diversity quotas is unconstitutional. The law required corporations to diversify their boards with members from certain racial, ethnic, and LGBT groups. NTD's Grace Coulter has the details.
California's corporate diversity quota law has been declared unconstitutional. A state court in Los Angeles made the ruling Friday. Conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch filed a lawsuit over the law on behalf of 3 California taxpayers in October 2020. The lawsuit argued that spending any taxpayer dollars or resources on the law violates the state's constitutional equal protection clause. While the court agreed with the plaintiff's case, the ruling didn't explain the judge's reasoning. The diversity measure, which was signed into law last year, required that the boards of directors of California-based publicly traded companies satisfy a quota of members from underrepresented communities. This included LGBT, Black, Latino, Asian, Native American, and Pacific Islander individuals. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton commended the ruling, calling it historic. He said in a statement that the decision declared unconstitutional one of the most blatant and significant attacks in the modern era on constitutional prohibitions against discrimination. Judicial Watch is also challenging another California law, which requires a female director on corporate boards. Grace Coulter, NTD News.
Los Angeles County has launched a basic income pilot program. The program would provide $1,000 per month to qualifying individuals for 3 years. But a member of the local Chamber of Commerce says the program creates disincentives for an already lacking labor force.
Los Angeles County is set to select 1,000 random applicants for its Universal Income Pilot Program. Qualifying residents can now apply for the program. The program will provide $1,000 per month based on household size and income. Single-family income must be below $56,000, and a family of 4 must be below $216,000. Residents must also reside within the county, be 18 or older, be negatively impacted by pandemic lockdowns, and not be enrolled in other income programs. LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell, who introduced the bill, said it was necessary for the program to support families in financial difficulty. But amidst ongoing employee shortages, some business owners say universal income will make it all the harder to find workers. Ruzba Fair-Napor, president of the West LA Chamber of Commerce, told the Epoch Times that the program will negatively impact the local economy. In the county of LA, we are hardly finding employees and nobody wants to work. Not only restaurants, but small businesses. They are struggling with staffing and a shortage of employees. Fair-Napor said he's had to take on multiple roles in his restaurant to overcompensate for the lack of labor. The city of Los Angeles invested $27 million for the program, in addition to another $4 million for the pilot's program research. The deadline to apply for the program is April 13th.
A Bay Area-based author is challenging Governor Gavin Newsom in the upcoming gubernatorial election. He cites rampant homelessness and crime as reasons for the state's crisis of chaos.
It really took the brazen smash and grab looting of Louis Vuitton and other luxury stores to finally compel San Francisco's leaders into action.
Michael Schellenberger, author of the book San Francisco, announced he is running for governor to intervene in the state's crises. He explains to California Insider's CMA Karami that poor money management and public policies lead to rampant homelessness and crime, especially in San Francisco.
And to some extent, it's San Francisco's great wealth that's created the crisis on the streets, by which I mean San Francisco gives out cash, it gives out free housing, it gives many other amenities to people who demand them, often in support of their addiction, and that's attracted people to San Francisco. It's created these open drug scenes.
The city of San Francisco has over 8,000 homeless people, with more than half of them living on the streets. Despite many previous attempts to contain this issue, the numbers continue to climb. Schellenberger says drug addiction and free housing are the main culprits.
Because giving away housing to drug addicts without any consequences of sobriety, without any requirements of sobriety or abstinence, has resulted in people overdosing and dying from hard drugs in their hotel rooms, and that's only increased over the last several years.
Schellenberger believes San Francisco can model after other liberal cities like Amsterdam that required addiction treatment and psychiatric care to make the city safe again. He proposes CalPsych, a new agency to address addiction and mental illness. The program would also be responsible for enforcing rehabilitation requirements.
You can watch the full program on California Insider on YouTube or Epoch TV on the Epoch Times website. Next, 4 Los Angeles cities are suing the Attorney General over a state-mandated affordable housing law. They claim it is unconstitutional and has almost 100 years of precedent. Let's take a look at the arguments the cities are making. Redondo Beach is leading a lawsuit challenging Attorney General Rob Bonta over Senate Bill 9. The state law permits single-family lots to be divided for development for 2 to 4 houses. The other 3 cities are Torrance, Carson, and Whittier. The leaders of the suit want a court order to find the law in violation of the state constitution and to prohibit its enforcement. The petition writes, "It is undisputed that planning and zoning laws are matters of municipal affairs, and the state eviscerated a city's local control over land use decisions and a community-tailored zoning process." It additionally wrote that the law for municipalities to zone single-family residential districts has been well settled for almost 100 years. Governor Gavin Newsom signed SB 9 into law in September. Proponents say it will create opportunities to ease the state's housing shortage. But before Newsom signed the bill, the League of California Cities, along with 240 cities, signed a letter urging him to veto the bill. SB 9 does not require newly created homes or lots to meet certain affordability standards. The petition states that high-priced urban areas could sell compact housing at high market rates as well as increase land value. The four cities wrote that affordable housing is a serious issue, and they are finding their own ways to solve it. Carson City has developed 1,000 affordable housing units over the last 20 years, with 900 more either approved or under construction. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California. We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we've got ready for you when we come back after the break. A heat wave is on its way to the Bay Area. We'll look at just how hot it's going to get. A 100-year-old park ranger is finally retiring. She led tours at a Northern California historical park teaching visitors about World War II. That and more on California Today. The Bay Area could see some warm weather in the coming days, and the small heat wave is expected to linger for not too long. Let's take a look at the forecasted temperatures.
Sweltering weather is in the forecast for the San Francisco Bay Area. According to the National Weather Service, a heat wave is expected to bring the hottest temperatures of the year so far, with some inland locations forecasted to break into the 90s. A forecaster said the last time we had a heat wave similar to this was in 1989. Monday and Tuesday are expected to be mild and mostly dry, with afternoon highs in the 60s and 70s. On Wednesday, a high-pressure system will bring warmer temperatures. Inland cities like Livermore and Concord may see temperatures in the low to mid-90s. But as the high pressure begins to break down on Friday, temperatures will begin a gradual decline. Cooler weather is expected over the weekend, and a chance of rain returns next week.
Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has disclosed that he's now Twitter's largest shareholder. And this comes after he ran a Twitter poll regarding Twitter and free speech.
Elon Musk has revealed he's Twitter's largest shareholder with a 9.2% stake, and this is happening just a few days after he tweeted about Twitter and free speech.
He's a man who in the past has shown that he's not afraid to take his own wealth and, to use the expression, put money where his mouth is.
Matt Sweetwood is the CEO of Greener Process Systems and a Twitter power user with over 150,000 followers. Sweetwood says Musk will have power over what goes on in the company.
At a minimum, it will get him a seat on the board of directors. Having a seat on the board of directors, he now has access to all information, both public and what's privately discussed among other board members, and he can have some input over that.
Michael Busler is a professor of finance at Stockton University. Busler believes that if Musk were to go for majority ownership, he would do it in stages.
He could go in and buy it outright. That would really shake up the stock market for Twitter, and it might drive prices possibly way up. I think if he's going to get control and do it in stages, he doesn't really want to shock the market and cause any real shocks in the price.
Jeremy Knopf is the founder of Spartan Media. Knopf says Musk's huge audience will heavily influence the company and the media.
When we look at his 9.2% stake in Twitter, that in and of itself, I mean, that's impressive to begin with, but the control that he actually will have is exponentially larger because he has this huge, vocal, and engaged audience.
Musk has the 8th largest following on Twitter. Colin Fredrickson, NTD News.
The nation's oldest active park ranger is retiring at the age of 100. She led tours at a Northern California historical park teaching about World War II. NTD's Eileen Ng will tell us more about who she is and her life achievements.
The National Park Service announced Thursday that Betty Reed Soskin retired after more than 15 years at the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park in Richmond. She celebrated her 100th birthday in September 2021. A middle school in El Sobrante honored her by renaming the school after her. In a statement, Soskin said, "To be a part of helping to mark the place where that dramatic trajectory of my own life, combined with others of my generation, will influence the future by the footprints we've left behind, has been incredible." In 2011, she became a permanent NPS employee. There, she has been leading public programs while sharing her personal remembrances and observations at the Park Visitor Center. Soskin was a civil rights activist and took part in meetings to develop a general management plan for the Homefront Park. She was named California Woman of the Year in 1995. In 2015, she received a presidential coin from Barack Obama after she lit the national Christmas tree at the White House. She was also honored with entry into the Congressional Record. Glamour magazine named her Woman of the Year in 2018. Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park will celebrate Soskin's retirement on Saturday, April 16th in Richmond.
Students recently held a bake sale to support their county's police canine unit. They say they want to give back to their local police. Let's hear from the kids and meet some of the dogs.
3 students from H. Clark Powers Elementary School in Loomis held a donut bake sale. The students say the money raised will support the county's police canine unit.
We're selling donuts to raise money to donate to the canine unit at the Placer County Sheriff's Office. I support the Placer County Sheriff's Office because they do so much for our county and they keep our schools and community safe.
The students held the bake sale at their school and sold donuts to staff and students.
I support the Placer County Sheriff's Office because they do a lot of things for our county and we want to give back.
The Placer County Sheriff's Office Canine Unit has 6 Deputy Sheriff Canine teams allocated to the Alburn and South Placer area. 2 others are allocated to the North Lake Tahoe station. The canines are trained in locating and apprehending violent criminal suspects, crowd control, and narcotics and firearm detection. Cade is the most recent addition to the unit. He's a 2-year-old Belgian Malinois, according to the Placer County Canine Association's March 19th Facebook post. Cade and his handler, Deputy Buckley, recently graduated from canine school and are ready to serve their North Lake Tahoe community.
In Southern California, about 15,000 people and their dogs flooded Huntington Dog Beach over the weekend for the 10th annual Corgi Beach Day.
Corgis and their owners participated in several contests, including Corgi Limbo and 2 costume competitions. The biggest star of the day was Crouton the Corgi, also known as the Michael Jordan of Corgi Limbo. Now 14 years old and receiving treatment for brain cancer, Crouton still managed to win the Limbo contest for the 7th year. Crouton's owner, Crystal Siri, says her Corgi enjoys competing even when she loses. Corgis for Ukraine, Reed, Riley, Roy, and Ringo were also a big hit. Their owner, Rick Garcia, dressed all 4 in yellow and blue roses to match the Ukrainian flag, parading them through the Best Anything Goes costume contest. Another Corgi, Cricket, won the Best Costume contest.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup.
The NBA's Sunday Showcase featured all 4 California teams, so here's how the teams from the Golden State performed over the weekend. Nikola Jokic had 38 points and 18 rebounds. Will Barton scored 25, and visiting Denver beat Los Angeles, which was playing without LeBron James due to a sore ankle. The Lakers have lost 6 straight. Anthony Davis, however, did play and had 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. Russell Westbrook added 27 points and 10 rebounds, and Carmelo Anthony scored 17. Malik Monk had 11, and Avery Bradley finished with 10 for the Lakers, who are in 11th place in the West and are currently in jeopardy of missing the play-in tournament, never mind the playoffs. Nuggets 129, Lakers 118. Andrew Wiggins scored a game-high 25 points, and Golden State retained the number 3 playoff seeding in the Western Conference with a victory that formally eliminated Sacramento from postseason contention. electing to rest veterans Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, and Otto Porter Jr. on the second night of the back-to-back. The Warriors also got 22 points from Jordan Poole, 19 from Nemanja Bjelica, and 17 from Jonathan Kuminga in winning their second straight. Bjelica grabbed 12 rebounds for a double-double and added a team-high 6 assists off the bench. Former Warriors Harrison Barnes and Damian Jones had 18 and 17 points respectively to pace the Kings, who needed to win its last 4 games to have a shot at ending what is now going to be a 16-year playoff drought. Warriors 109, Kings 90. Marcus Morris Sr. scored 22 points and refreshed Los Angeles routed the visiting New Orleans Pelicans to clinch the 8th spot in the Western Conference heading in to the play-in tournament. Morris was one of 4 Clippers starters to return after sitting out a 153-119 victory at Milwaukee on Friday. The others included Paul George, who scored 15 points, Reggie Jackson, who had 11 and 10 assists, as the Clippers began a season-ending 4-game homestand. Clippers 119, Pelicans 100. Tiger Woods will reportedly make a game-time decision on competing at next week's Masters, the 5-time champion said on Sunday, as he continues to recover from the serious leg injuries he suffered in a car crash in February 2021. Woods said 6 weeks ago that he had a long way to go in his recovery, but speculation mounted with each passing day that his return could come at the April 7 through 10 Masters, as he refrained from removing his name from the field of competitors. Woods' single car crash resulted in a 3-week hospital stay in Los Angeles, where he faced the possibility of having his right leg amputated. He was then confined to a hospital-type bed for 3 months at his home in South Florida. The 46-year-old Woods has not played on the PGA Tour since the November 2020 Masters. His only event since the accident came last December, when he finished runner-up alongside his son in a 36-hole exhibition played on a flat course with no rough. But Woods is no stranger to playing through pain, something he famously proved at the 2008 US Open, where he prevailed in a thrilling playoff victory at Torrey Pines while competing on what was essentially a broken leg. Don't forget, Woods also capped one of the most remarkable comebacks in professional sport when, at the age of 43, he won the Masters in 2019 after enduring years of surgery and personal problems that convinced many the best golfer of his generation was done. Looks like we're going to have to wait and see if he's able to make it back this time.
As always, I'm Thomas Christian, and thanks for tuning in.
That's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, or you just want to let us know how we're doing, our email is california.today@ntd.com. I'm Daniel Hall. Have a wonderful evening.